I'm sure she would send somebody, some foolish carpenter into there to handle that. Yeah, she's got all
You
these expendable superheroes. Why
could
not?
you imagine that that job interview? Okay, so you're an expert in like genetics, all this stuff. You have like all these PhDs and whatnot. Are you willing to walk into a boundless void?
Yeah. Do you like hellscapes?
What
Ha-
what about the background check? Like what is your secret shame?
yeah. How do you deal with meth chickens?
What's going on, guys? Uh we are going to talk Thunderbolts again because we recorded and then we're like, "Hey, wait, we forgot to talk about all these things."
Yeah.
So,
We like talked about the movie like the day we saw it, and now it's been 2 days and we're all or not even, it's been another 24 hours and we're like, hey, wait a minute. We have some second opinions. Or deeper dives even.
even deeper dives, let's call this.
Oh my god. Even deeper dives. Now watch our deep dives are gonna be like, it was great, right? Like we have nothing intellectual or to add to the conversation. We're just like, yeah, everything we said
Yeah,
before.
thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been thinking about it and still good. um, there were a few things that that I said to myself, like, oh, I wish I had mentioned this. Um, and one of them was when they talk in the portion about, or when the people touch Void. Oh wait, spoilers, crazy spoilers, crazy spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. So because we're gonna spoil it right now. Um, so when they touch Void, they see something from their past. We get to see uh, John Walker's, we get to see Yelena's, and we get to see uh, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character. We get to see moments from their past, and they're all. You could almost say like these are the moments of most regret. Like that's how I saw them. Like these are their most regretful moments, and that reminded me of the New Mutants movie. Spoilers for the New Mutants movie if you haven't seen it.
I'm gonna guess most people haven't seen New Mutants.
Come on, it came out.
It
We
came
all
out. I saw it
suffered
in the
through it.
theater.
Yeah. You alone saw it here.
I mean, I was
Um,
alone in that theater.
I mean, we can deep dive the New Mutants movie at some point in the future, but I will say it's not terrible. But part of the story is them sort of being attacked by fear. There's like a fear monster. That might not be exactly right. But they all have visions, or they're all physically attacked by what turns out to be either their greatest fear or, I mean, you could say it's almost like a regret. So they're all attacked by their greatest fears, greatest regrets, whatever. And but it's like hard horror. Like that's what New Mutants did. They're like, we're gonna make a superhero movie that's also a horror movie. So I a day later, I was saying to myself, is Thunderbolts a kinder, gentler, more accessible version of that idea? Um, because it's similar. Like they need to join forces to take out the
They're actually kind
evil.
of similar now that you mention it. Uh, and spoilers for New Mutants if you haven't seen it, which you probably haven't. It is on Disney Plus right now if you want to watch it.
You should
I would
watch it.
recommend it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I watched it in the theater by myself, and I had no one else to talk to about it, but I enjoyed it.
You were like, that was good, right? Oh, oh.
But spoilers for that movie, they do actually have therapy. They have group therapy in New Mutants. So they are
That's
all
right. Yeah.
working through issues together.
Right. So it's like it is a superhero movie that tackles depression, that tackles what we were talking about yesterday, like the self-hatred, the self-doubt, the all that stuff. I mean, that's all in there. And what that movie does maybe better, New Mutants does better than Thunderbolts, is it really individualizes each character and sort of we really get to know their journey. They each character has an arc, as opposed to like in Thunderbolts where a few characters have an arc and Ghost is just like, I also feel things.
Yeah. I also
And and poor Taskmaster is like, I also papa. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
But yeah, I thought the New Mutants, like you get to know their fears and you get to see them work together to overcome them individually, which is cool.
And I think probably if Thunderbolts was the first time we're seeing these characters, because Thunderbolts isn't the first time we're seeing any of these
Oh, that's
characters.
true.
They're they're brought together by, forces. Whereas in New Mutants, they're all meeting each other for the first time. So we get like we have to learn more about them in throughout the course of the movie, as opposed to Thunderbolts, where we've already done some of that work in Black Widow, Ant-Man 2, Falcon and Winter
Black Widow
Soldier.
again. Yeah. That's a great point. Like they don't need to deep dive Bucky because we know Bucky,
Yeah.
but New Mutants had to. And I mean, I was then comparing the two movies to myself, and I was saying, oh, is Thunderbolts just better, like more fun characters? And then I was like, you know what? The New Mutants are not terrible characters, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff in New Mutants.
Yeah.
Um, and again, it's on Disney Plus, so you might as well watch
Disney
it.
Plus. Yeah. Watch it and pretend and call them the Thunderbolts. It's like the same movie. It's not the same movie. Go see Thunderbolts.
They did not get a second Vault.
All right, so that was one of the things I wanted to bring up. Another thing was the Sentry. And I was thinking about like how they're going to use him in the future. And then I was like, oh, like they made the Sentry. They're Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character is gonna want to make another Sentry. Like she's gonna want to try again with a more stable subject. And I said to myself, oh, did they do that in the comics? And I was trying to find out how he got his powers in the comics. There's something called the Golden Super Serum, which is based on the Super Serum that makes Captain America, but I couldn't really find definitive good stuff on it, or if that in the comics they have tried to make another one, but they have to do it in the movies for two reasons. One, they've that's what they do. They're like like the super serum was successful. Let's make 20 more. Like everybody.
That's kind of the basis of the entire MCU because Captain America was the first super soldier, and I think everything after that, most of them is trying to replicate that. So the Hulk is a part of that.
Right.
Um, really just the Hulk, but
Yeah. I mean, all those other,
She-Hulk.
but oh my God, does it ever end? But it's true. Like half of the Thunderbolts team is based on the superheroes. What is it called?
Super Soldier.
Super Soldier Serum. So I was like, if the Sentry worked, they have to. And you made we were talking about this before, and you made an excellent point, which was
Well, so in the movie, the very first scene is Yelena going to a lab and accidentally murdering a scientist
oh yeah,
who was talking about the Sentry Project. So presumably he was one of the scientists who worked on the Sentry Project. He is now dead. The lab that he worked in is blown up. And the vault scene was supposedly all of the kind of loose ends. So there's all kinds of like equipment in there. I mean, Bob is in there. All four of our all four members of the Thunderbolts, minus Red Guardian and Bucky, are in there because they're all loose ends. And Valentina Allegra De Fontaine.
yes.
Yes.
I'm so glad one of us did the work.
So that whole thing was set up so that it would get rid of all that evidence. So essentially like just incinerating all of it. So presumably all of the research that wasn't blown up in the lab was in this vault that is now incinerated.
And that is a great reason for them not to do it. But I still think there's too many easy workarounds. There's like getting Bob's DNA and working from there. Or check this out. You go into the void, into the room where it was, and you just go over to the computer. Does Bob create the room and the information? Or is it just like, does it just say Bob, 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 Bob over again, over and over again?
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I'm sure she would send somebody, some foolish carpenter into there to handle that. Yeah, she's got all these expendable superheroes. Why not?
Could you imagine that job interview? okay, so you're an expert in like genetics, all this stuff. You have like all these PhDs and whatnot. Are you willing to walk into a boundless void?
Yeah. Do you like hellscapes?
What
Ha-
what about the background check? Like what is your secret shame?
yeah. How do you deal with meth chickens? All problems. But I'm excited to see what they do essentially because Bob is like this ticking time bomb now where like he knows he can't let that side of him out. But there's totally going to be that point where he's like, I have to do it to save everybody. I have to let the darkness out so I can help defeat Galactus or save
Yeah.
up Marshmallow Man or whatever.
So we do know he's in Doomsday from
He is, okay.
the
From the
uh
chairs.
the row of chairs.
Yeah.
It took 5 hours or whatever.
That 5 hour row of chairs.
So presumably he could power up in Doomsday again, and that would be cool. And like to see because we know that Doomsday is followed by Secret War. So do the
Yeah.
heroes win in Doomsday? Maybe, maybe not.
So there's been a lot of talk about Fantastic Four, and this isn't a spoiler, it's just speculation, but Franklin Richards has been like singled out as this key figure that could start the battle world or could start
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
whatever for Doom, whatever. We don't know what's going to happen, and MCU definitely does does things different than Marvel. So this is just crazy speculation. So I've heard that before that Franklin Richards is sort of pinpointed that as a potential figure to be that sort of like I launched this world. I mean, technically, like Scarlet Witch could do that too, or but I guess what I'm getting to is could Century be that figure, or do his powers not work that way, or or what, you know?
Well, so he doesn't necessarily have reality warping powers, although I could see them going in a direction where because this is a very Doctor Doom thing to do. Capture the Sentry, capture the Scarlet Witch, like fashion a machine that allows Sentry to power Scarlet Witch's power to change the world.
Yeah, I
Like
like that. I was hoping you were going to say get him to bone and make a new kid, like a like a super powered kid that
Bob
has
Mac.
all. Yeah, Bob Maximoff, the golden warlock. She could be a lady. Bobby with an eye.
Bobby Bobby Maximoff,
Bobby Maximoff, the golden
Golden
witch.
Witch. There we go.
Phil, did we just save the Marvel universe?
I think we did. I think you're not going to get a better idea than that, Marvel. Call
That's
us.
it, man. The last thing I wanted to address is less speculative. It's less serious. It's less contemplative. It's really focused on the Bucky going full on Mission Impossible 2 with that motorcycle and with the wig and everything. It was so good. I'm mad at myself for not just like a prayer hands emoji like to that moment.
I mean, it was such a great moment. I love the whole Red Guardian kind of worship of the Winter Soldier, like that
Yeah,
whole through
we're the
line.
same, but yeah.
Because it makes sense because the like I guess in the MCU, Bucky Winter Soldier was was more of a Hydra thing. I don't know if in the comics if that was the case. Because I want to say Winter Soldier is more about like Russian, like him being a
Sure.
Russian soldier, but I don't know that for sure because um, and this may be getting too much into my comic reading, but I have not fully read all the Ed Brubaker stuff, which is where Winter Soldier first appears because I have omnibuses one,
Jesus.
three, four, five. I'm missing two.
Have you read the first one?
No, because I don't have two.
You're like, I don't want to stop reading. So I won't start. But I hear it's very good, so I will spend all that money on it. Brubaker!
But yeah, so like it makes sense that like the Red Guardian and the Winter Soldier, like or at least Red Guardian would look at Winter Soldier with um I don't know, with awe, I
Well,
guess.
they're contemporaries. They're like he's just talking shop when he's like, I love when he says, "Oh, what kind of serum did you get?" Oh,
Bucky's like, I
Hydra,
don't
that's
know, regular
good. That's good. Yeah.
dress.
Yeah, yeah. So it's crazy. Like I didn't even think about it in those terms because when you think like, oh, he got it from the same. He got Bucky got his powers the same way Cap got his powers, but no, he got like the next generation version of that, like the backwards engineered version of that, and Red Guardian got like an even watered down version of that. So
So yeah, now we have more people who are kind of like offshoots of the original Super Soldier series, and we have Bucky, we
yeah,
have Red
Red
Guardian,
Guardian.
two
We
more,
have Isaiah,
Isaiah
um,
Bradley,
and let's not forget the Red Hulk. It circles
Red Hulk,
around.
U.S. Agent,
um, Abomination
Abomination, yeah.
technically qualifies. We're gonna make a list. We should make a whole video. Here's everything that comes from superhero. No, we're not gonna make that video. Did you have a note you want to discuss?
So I did. There was a lot made about the asterisk, like Thunderbolts asterisk. What could it mean? And we find out again. Spoilers. You probably have watched it by now. If you're watching this, uh, we find out the asterisk means it was meant as New Avengers. So they're now the New Avengers, not the Thunderbolts. Um, but I was thinking about this, and it actually harkens back to the original comic Thunderbolts. Uh,
Okay.
so if you're not familiar with that, it was the mid '90s.
It was a glorious time. This
Yeah,
was the Bendis era of taking
no,
over.
this was pre Bendis.
Oh,
Bendis was like early 2000s. So like this was Heroes Reborn. So
oh,
I'm gonna have to go deep dive on this.
oh. The images you're gonna edit into here.
So back in the mid '90s, Marvel wasn't selling that well, so they essentially licensed out their properties like Avengers, like Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, Fantastic Four to the Image guys, Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee.
Jim Lee. Just the two of them?
So I think so, yeah,
Okay.
because Jim Lee's studio did um, Fantastic Four, and I want to say Iron Man because Iron Man was Will Portatio, and then
Right.
Captain America and Avengers was Rob Liefeld. So there was a an event called Onslaughts. Um, all those characters we just mentioned, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, all those, they're presumed to be dead, but actually in a separate universe. So that left a power vacuum in the main Marvel universe, and that's when the Thunderbolts appeared.
Because they needed to fill that void. There was
They
no,
needed to fill
yeah,
that void. So the Thunderbolts were a group of heroes, presumably new creation. So all the marketing up to that point was like, oh, they're new heroes, like they're completely
yeah.
new. And then at the end of the first issue, oh, spoilers for Thunderbolts, the comic,
Uh,
if you haven't read it, 30 plus years old at this point. The reveal at the end of Thunderbolts issue 1 that they're not heroes, they're actually villains in disguise.
so good. And it became like this chase book because of that. Like people were like, it was a good twist. Like people really went for it. Let's can we just because it's a nice walk down memory lane, can we take a look at this? Did so the leader is Baron Zemo, who was then going by what was his superhero
I
name?
think with Citizen V, V for
Citizen
Victory.
V. And on this page where they reveal everything, he takes off his Citizen V mask and he's got a full Baron Zemo outfit on
He's wearing a
underneath
mask
that.
under his mask.
Yeah, Bruv has a mask under that. It's not like he's like, let me take off this crap and put on this crap. He's got a full mask. And then you got the Fixer. I don't know. They're not. There's a page here where they're like, "You're him. You're him. You're him." Um,
Yeah,
but they don't say who they are. Fixer was somebody. The Beetle was somebody. Screaming Mimi was Songbird. I know.
Songbird. Yeah,
Goliath, who is the Lawrence Fishburne character from Ant-Man, right?
I don't think it's that Goliath. I think it's a different Goliath.
Okay. All right. So it's a silly me. I wonder if he took the shrinking superhero soldier serum, super soldier serum. No, we have to give credit where credit's due to the PIM particles, but and then Moonstone is another one. Here's the thing about the Thunderbolts, though. Like, none of their none of their alter egos lasted, right? Except Songbird,
Songbird
maybe.
became an Avenger, like a full-on Avenger.
Okay, but all the others, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like I really like the kind of reveal at the end, which kind of harkened back to the original Thunderbolts comic.
That's true. That's really cool. Oh, wait, at the end of this one? At the
At
end
the
of
end
the
of
movie?
at the end of this movie, where they reveal they're the Avengers, not the Thunderbolts, kind
Okay.
of harkens back to the comic where it reveals that they're not actual heroes; they're villains. But
The only way that she could have boned them over, though, would have been like to give them new names.
well, so there's actually a run in the Bendis era. I think he actually wrote Dark Avengers, which was kind of like a Thunderbolts thing where they took villains and rebranded them as heroes.
Right. So, like, but it lined up. So, like, Venom was Spider-Man,
Yeah, Venom
or
was Spider-Man. Uh,
the Wolverine's son, the Mohawk Wolverine,
yeah,
was
was
Wolverine. Things like
Wolverine.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I really like that. Like in hindsight, after recording the first video,
Yeah.
I'm remembering. Oh wait, the comics. Like I really like
Day
that connection there.
a day later, we deep dive. I love it.
Deep dive, and we
Um,
had a little like a little journey back in the '90s comics.
I love it. Comics are fun. It's so great. Comics
Comics
and
are
comic movies. It's all good. Um, and we're never going to talk about this again unless I think about something tomorrow that I
yeah,
need to talk
like I'm not gonna say we're never gonna talk about Thunderbolts again.
Never say never.
But for now, I think we're done, right? Any other thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, I think we're done for now. But boy, oh boy, if something pops up,
I mean, tomorrow's a new day.
tomorrow's another day. Yeah, it's another reason for us to connect a movie from 2025 back to 1996. Yeah, so you never know. But yeah, we're done for now.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. If you have more thoughts about the Thunderbolts, the movie or the comic, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you never know. Feel free to drop a comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.